Hello and welcome to this video. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Bella Luna. I am a spiritual life coach, healer, mystic, transformational facilitator, and radical self-love advocate. And I'm super excited about this video today because I'm talking about two of my biggest passions in life, science and magic. So I'd say that the first part of my life, as in my childhood, really combined these two things really nicely, because I spent a lot of time outside in nature, frolicking around in the trees and the woodlands, playing with fairies, mixing magical potions in the dirt, and appreciating butterflies and flowers and leaves and mud and all of the glorious things that Mother Nature has to offer us. And then I went on to really dive into science. I loved science at school. I loved chemistry, biology, physics. I loved understanding how the world worked, picking it apart and understanding it on that deeper level. So much so that I got top marks in my GCSE sciences, and then I went on to study animal management at college, which involved a lot of microbiology and biochemistry. And then I went on to study a Bachelor of Science at university in wildlife conservation, where we spent a lot of time in the lab and diving into animal anatomy, physiology, and biology. So I love science. So when I first then got on my spiritual journey, I basically was like, what is this? What is this world that has just been like opened up to me? Like, what's going on? So I said to the universe, I had a little word with the universe, and I said, look guys, you made me like this, right? You made me with this scientific brain and this scientific curiosity and this way of thinking. So if you want me on this magical spiritual path, you're gonna have to give me some proof, guys. Like, you made me like this, sorry not sorry, gonna need some proof. And boy did they deliver. They delivered with some hard, cold proof on a plate. And I was like, okay, I'm good, I believe, I'm a believer, thank you, I'm good now. So then as I dived into this magical spiritual world, it really just opened my eyes to how magical science is as well. I was always the kind of person that, as I picked science apart and I understood the world more, it didn't make the world less magical. It made it more magical. In school, learning how a rainbow is formed, with the light refracting through the prism and making up the color spectrum and all of the things, like, to me, that was like, whoa, that's insane. It didn't make me go like, oh, rainbow's boring now, I'm done with rainbows. Oh, look, there's a rainbow, woohoo, whoop-de-doo, get on with my day. It was more like, whoa, rainbows, prisms, refraction, light, science. Like, it made it so magical to me that I could never understand why people separate magic and science so much. There's such a community that thinks that they're so separate, that they're two completely different theories, philosophies, entities, works of belief, when actually, for me, there's just like a major overlap. Because I really believe that magic is just, it's just something that we haven't given like a scientific explanation for yet. But then I also believe that scientific explanations are also absolutely magical. Also, if you think about all the great scientists, that have been, they all have one thing in common. And that one thing in common is that at one point in their journey, in their career, in their scientific path, at one point, everyone in the world pretty much thought that they were barking mad Looney Tunes off their rocker, because they thought of something that was completely outside of human comprehension. This is human comprehension, and their theory was like way over here, and everyone was like, dude, you're crazy, like, go back to the stuff that we know about, right? When someone said the world was round, everyone was like, you crazy boy. And then what happened? It turns out to be reality. So every scientist at one point believed in something that everyone else just thought was like magical nonsense. So science only happens because people explore outside of what we know into the realms of the unknown, into those magical realms. So this has always been sort of like the glasses that I look through the world with, and I would love to invite you to look through the world with similar eyes. It's about seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary. It's about looking at a rainbow and going, that is insane. Like, that is crazy that there is a rainbow right now. Like, how is this happening? Where does it end? Where does it begin? Like, is there a pot of gold? Does anyone know? Has anyone found a pot of gold? Maybe getting off topic a bit here, but just because you have a scientific explanation for something doesn't make it any less magical. Doesn't mean that magic isn't real. It just means that someone has thought crazily enough outside the box, has followed their thinking, has tried and tested all of these different things to unpick it and figure out how it works. So just because there isn't a scientific explanation for something doesn't mean it isn't real. Just because there is doesn't mean it's less magic. And I would love to invite you to look at this world through this extraordinary magical lens. And if you know anything about the quantum physics realm, that is just the perfect combination of magic and science. I'm not going to go into it now because I don't even know that much about it, because it's like so crazy massive, but it is a topic that absolutely fascinates me, and I would love to dive into it deeper as I go forward in my path, in my career, in my life, because I do miss having more of the science in my life. So science and magic are two of my biggest passions in life. They have such an overlap. Please, if you're one of those people that thinks of them as so separate, I'd love for you to reconsider that and to look into that, to feel into that, to look at the world around you and think like, okay, nature, nature, the study of nature is, biology, conservation, the study of, etymology of like fauna and flora and plants and like everything. It's sciences, it's called science. But if you have any connection with nature at all, you know how much potent magic there is flying around in nature. In trees, in flowers, in herbs and plant medicine, in animals, in spirit animals, in the earth itself, in the land, in the water, waterfalls and rivers and oceans, like mountains, and weather is magical. I mean, if you're a magical being, if you're into anything like Wicca or anything like that, you know how important weather is, like earth, air, fire, water, wind, rain, thunder, lightning. All of it is like massively part of at least the Wiccan realm and general spirituality, but it's still also considered science. The weather is a scientific thing. And I mean, has anyone realized that we have weather forecasts? Like, that's just a part and parcel of our day-to-day life, is weather forecasts. But that's someone using science to predict the future. Like, they're predicting the future of the weather, and it's just something that we take for granted. Like, that's insane that you can look at the weather forecast. Okay, let's face it, it's not always accurate. We have to take the weather with a pinch of salt. But there are people out there who are like weather witches, but we just call them like scientists. They're like predicting the future of the weather. That is magical. That is insane magic. And yet we're just like, oh yeah, what's the weather forecast tomorrow? Let me just Google that. Magic, absolute magic. So just, I'd love you to look at the world around you and just think about how much of this world am I taking for granted? Oh, it's just science, it's just science. But it's science, it's like pure magic. Science is pure magic. And I would love for everyone else to be as excited and open to this as I am. So if you have any questions, pop them in the comments below. If you think I'm absolutely insane or I've gone a bit giddy in this video, then That's your prerogative. Let me know how you're feeling about this video. If it's confusing you, if you agree, let me know if there's any times that you've seen some like crazy magical science in the world and you'd love to share it, because I would love to hear from you. So much love and infinite blessings from me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.